Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scam Economy Episode 6 post show. It is I, Matt Bender, your host. And what did you all think of that episode with Molly White? I thought it was great. Easily one of my favorite episodes. I mean, we've only done 6, but it's definitely in my top 5. And I'm not including the episode that was all me. So it's somewhere in the top 5. But yeah, I thought it was great. And I think Molly is really good at breaking this stuff down, multiple things down. And we didn't even get to I feel like 90% of the things we could have gone on talking about. Like each thing we started breaking down, I felt could have been just cut off into its own full-blown hour-long episode, really. We were getting to decentralized finance and the predatory loaning going on there. And then she brought up for a split second. And I was like, I even said to myself, you know what, don't bring this up during this episode because you're not going to be happy with how little time you have to talk about it. She brought up the pay to play, Web3 video games. Oh my God, I'm all of a sudden having a mental block. One of them is the big ones Axie something or some shit like that. There's a whole bunch of them. And Axie Infinity, I think it is. And that's a whole, that's, you could probably do a whole series. I could probably start a whole podcast just on the games, but I can assure you there'll be plenty of episodes where we cover, the sort of weird pay to play games in the Web3 space. For example, did you know that the ability for some of these games, the buy-in for some of these games, is so high for regular people that people with means actually purchase the buy-in NFT they need, people need to play, and then offer people who want to play but can't afford to. They offer them scholarships. And as part of scholarships, right, to play a fucking video game, right? And as part of these Ma, I got a scholarship. Oh, to where? To fucking WWE 2K22. I mean, really, imagine saying that. And I don't know if WWE 2K22 is looking into the NFT world. I don't think they are yet. But I'm sure. I know WWE did. I don't know about the video game, their video game deal. But anyway, they offer them scholarships, and as part of these scholarships, you know how they get paid back? The really predators, these predatory people, charge these gamers a percentage of their in-game earnings in order for them to be able to play the game. This is a video game. It's supposed to be for fun. It's supposed to be something to do, when you're not working, when you're not focused on the grind of making money so you can buy necessities like food and shelter. And here you are, taking out a loan, begging for a scholarship, and then having to pay a percentage of whatever you make in the game back to the person who's allowing you to play the game. Why do you play a video game for that? Just live real life. It's real. There's literally live in reality, and there you go. You too can play a Web3 NFT video game. Get a job, find an apartment, rent it, have to fill your own fridge, pay your bills, electric, gas, water, all that fun stuff. And woohoo, you too can play a NFT game. Oh boy. Anyway, so great episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Very few people so far in the live stream. This is not the norm. Did people not see me post the link? I guess. Oh, I forgot to post the link in the feed chat this time. Oh, okay, maybe that. Not the chat. I usually post the link in the description. Excuse me, in the description. Oh, and in the Patreon post. Oh, I blew it with the live stream link for the post show today. Oof. Well, people will join in. I'm sure. I'm sure eventually people will join in. Once we're up for a little bit, the link will be shared throughout YouTube. YouTube will properly disseminate the link. All right, phone lines are open if you'd like to call in. Last week we had a amazing call-in show. It was literally all call-ins. You know, pretty much all these post shows are call-ins, but usually I get to read a bunch of comments and maybe go off on some random crypto news I came across over the past few days. But last week was all call-ins. And it was because there was just this never-ending, amazing stream of callers who wanted to share their experience, basically trying to be scammed in some sort of crypto scheme on various different dating sites. What was it, Bumble, and the other one's Hinge or something like that. I like I said, I'm completely out of the loop when it comes to the dating apps. But seriously, those were amazing stories. And what I'm gonna do, I'm rarely gonna do this. This is something that for that specific episode, I think I gotta do. I'm gonna cut those specific callers, I should say, out, and I'm gonna run it as like a main show, like for non-patrons and non-live, like a main episode show of Scam Economy is gonna be with those, because it's too good. I can't just. I'm sorry, patrons and people watching on the live stream. I just can't. Oh, it's unlisted. Did I? Oh shit. Thank you. That's why I messed it up. Oh man. I forgot to. Oh, thank you. Who told me that? Who gave me the heads up? Was that? Oh, a bunch of people said that. I blew it. Zoe and BC, thank you for owning me. By mocking me in the chat, by telling me it's unlisted still. Oh, I blew it. I knew I forgot something. I blew it. All right. Now it should be unlisted. It should be public. Damn. Oh well. There's no reason you can't find it now, everybody. But anyway, anywho, let's go to the let's go to the comments. Let's go to some chats. Oh, you can't even send the super chat. Oh, I'm even depriving myself of that sweet super chat revenue. Okay, well, it's unlisted now. You can drop me a super chat. That's why there's no super chats. Shit. Really shooting myself in the foot here. See, I could never run a crypto scam. I could never do some sort of Web3 scheme. I could never launch an NFT project or some DeFi thing, because I would launch it and then try to do a rug pull, or just drop the project and run away with the money. But as I was doing that, I would run away with as I sold off all my tokens, I would forget to check how much the market cap was, or how much was even put into the token, and I would do a rug pull, and then I'd look and be like, oh, there was only $10 invested in my shit coin, and oh that was $10 that my dad put in because I told him about it. Shit. Damn. So you're guaranteed to know that I can never pull off, you could sleep well tonight knowing that I can never pull off some sort of crypto scam, because I can't even properly put up a live stream feed without blowing it. So everyone is a stream of people just came in. I put it on. I forgot to make the stream public. Silly me. Silly me. I enlisted it too, so it wouldn't show up on the channel page, so people wouldn't get confused when they were coming before the YouTube premiere with Molly started. I didn't want people going to the the live stream, I should say, waiting in there for a stream that wasn't going to start for another hour, thinking they were waiting for the main show to start, like the interview. That actually happened like the first time for sure, for episode 1 with David Gerard, maybe the second episode too. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, there's like 20, 30 people waiting in the live stream, and it's not going to start for like an hour, and they're missing the actual premiere video with the interview. So I started making it unlisted first, and then previously I had unlisted it, made it public, like 10 minutes before the post show was supposed to start, but didn't do it right this time. I blew it. And Slice Keeper with a $20 super chat, making up for whatever I lost. Thank you, Slice Keeper. Not guilt money. Metadata is important and is just as much a public utility as the internet is. Sure. 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 I don't know if you're refuting something I said or disagreeing with me, but I believe we're on the same page there. I agree with that. I don't know about, wait, hold on. I don't know about as much as a public utility as the internet is. But yeah, sure. All right. Once again, you could open up your Skype app, type in Dooms Live, and call into this show. We can talk crypto, Web3, NFTs, whatever you'd like. We're in a complete opposite of what we were last week because of my. Oh, here we go. Let's go to the phones. Oh, of course, here are they. Here's the stream of callers now. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt. It's Grim.
Hey, Grim. What's up? What would you like to talk about?
First of all, I just wanted to say that in your honor, I am drinking some Pepsi.
I'll say cheers to that, friend.
There's also scotch in it.
There's none of that in mind, but we could
I figured.
We could still do a visual over the internet cheers.
Thank you. So something I was just thinking about earlier tonight was, isn't it kind of interesting how we went from Gamergate, where people were yelling about shills, and now a lot of these same people have become the shills they despised.
They're actually shilling.
Yeah.
I actually have not noticed if there's an overlap between any like big name Gamergaters and the Web3 grifters.
Maybe not exactly, but
right. Like it's I guess
there's some in the general sort of stream they come from.
Right. Yes, I agree. Same with what I was talking about with Molly about like conspiratorial thinkers and
100%.
Like QAnon believers. Like it's definitely not the same because the QAnon people are definitely not in the demographic who is going to like install MetaMask and figure out how to like purchase some shit coin on Uniswap. But it's definitely the same sort of thinking.
Yeah.
For example, like the QAnon people, they needed someone to literally pull Q's drops on 8chan and put them on like a regular website because so many QAnon believers just couldn't figure out how image boards like 8chan work. So I'm going to assume if you can't figure out like the image boards, probably not going to figure out a crypto wallet.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's so fundamentally a scam, because it's preying on people's inability to understand what they're buying.
Right.
Or what they're selling.
Right, because so many people who do end up actually like saying, "Okay, I gotta install this because I do want to take the time to make money, and you have to do a little bit of work to make money, right? Installing this, this Chrome extension, et cetera, et cetera." But I mean, they don't understand what they're doing, and they sort of, and you see scammers taking advantage of that too, where like there's been scams where they send something like an unconsensual, like non-consensual crypto or like
Right.
an NFT, and someone sees this shit end up in their wallet and they like accept it, and it turns out to be like coded to like basically unload their wallet and steal everything inside of it. Yeah.
Completely insane. Really is. Um, there's something. Oh, I mean, something that does get to me though is that phrase "make money." What value are they adding with their NFTs?
Right.
What contribution to society are we really getting out of this besides them buoying the chemical industry a little bit further because we got to power all these graphics cards that could be all these processors that could actually be doing important or even so, socially necessary work, which includes enjoying people's selves.
Right. I mean,
You know, there's a greater utility in those graphics cards being in computers or game consoles than they are wasting clock cycles trying to solve some arbitrary question.
right, right. You know, you brought up the NFT thing, and it's I I sort of like, you know, the first thing that I thought of when you went on this into this discussion, I thought like, you know, there are all these artists who are viewing NFTs as like this big money making endeavor, and very few of them are actually making a significant sum of money from this stuff. But it's also like sort of, I mean, to me, like, listen, I come from an art background. Like, I went to art school. I
Yeah,
literally went to school of visual arts for film. And I was making movies all the time, like shorts and random like web crap. And I was in a punk band, and we were making music and like recording stuff and putting it out there. And as an artist, I would feel so degraded if people were buying my work. And I didn't even like, for me, I always looked at, and again, I'm an older millennial, but I am a millennial born in 86. I'm 35 years old, but the world I grew up in, things like music, like a song, like an MP3 file, to me is the marketing tool. Like, it'd be great if people still bought music, and you know, if people do want to buy it to support an artist, that's great too. But to me, when I was in my punk band, you know, the MP3, the file, the music file was to put it out there, get people to like the band so much that they went to a show, bought merch like shirts or stickers or patches or pins, stuff like that.
exactly.
And you know, I would feel I'd much rather that stuff go out for free. The art stuff, like you want to buy a shirt, that's how you could show your support. That's not my art.
Yep.
Like, I'm not the artist who made that stuff. We would work with it, like a friend or someone. We'd work with them and give them, like, you know, we were all young at the time, teens, so we would pay them whatever, you know, like 50, $100 or whatever, and they would make the art for the shirt. And for me, like my art, the music, I wanted as much people to see that shit, to listen to that shit as possible. So if people do want to pay for it to support us, great. If people just want to listen to it, even better. If you want to share it, that's the best thing you can do. But I, as an artist, would feel so degraded if people were paying me money for my art, but not for the art. They were paying me money because they thought my art was going to be an asset that would appreciate in value, so they in turn could resell it for a profit. That would piss me off so much, because that is the antithesis of every reason I made music in that punk band. It was not a money-making endeavor from the get-go. I certainly didn't want people like reselling my songs about the Iraq War. Like, it was,
And but they're
it
not
would,
even reselling the song, right?
it's
They're
the
reselling
token that's connected to the song, just so you could have
exactly.
the bragging rights to say that you're the person who owns this. Like, that would even bother me so much. Just even if I owned the whole copyright of something, and someone was claiming that they owned it just because they paid for a token on a blockchain. Like, I would much rather do what, like, I don't know, like, what's his face, the guy who just Neil Young did. I would much rather if like a label came to me and basically said, we want to buy your catalog, and basically that ensures that catalog will always be released and out there for people to hear. I would be much more fine with that, even though it's like a deal with a big business or whatever. I would be much more fine with that because it guarantees my music is out there than with like someone trading tokens connected to my music like they're trading a stock. Like that's not what my art is.
No, I mean it's a fundamental misappreciation of what art and entertainment are for. Um, it's not. It can be profitable. It can be a business for people, but that's not really. And it can be profitable for a very small amount of people. But most people in the sort of entertainment industry, um, whether it be the people who are running the set, or if we want to think about especially video games, like there's a lot of game testers, there's a lot of lower level coders who are putting themselves through very unlivable conditions. Um, yes, to produce some great works of art sometimes, but also to produce some really terrible cash grabs. And I do somewhat find it funny that these sort of pay to earn games sort of do this like Yakov Smirnov trick, where it's the microtransactions by you instead of you buying the microtransactions. Um, it's a very interesting little trick. But it doesn't. I mean, I can at least appreciate that the gamer community has not, for the most part, has not welcomed the introduction of cryptocurrency into games.
Right, and it doesn't like listen like even the ones that have talked about doing it, they never present something that even sounds plausible or workable. Like the thing that Web3 advocates and NFT people always bring up is like, how awesome would it be if like you bought like a Fortnite skin and you were able, because you own the NFT to it, you'd be able to like port that NFT into like another game by Epic because I mean you own the skin, you should be able to wear that skin
Yep.
wherever you want. I mean, you first of all like any developer could make that possible without the blockchain. It's not like the blockchain does nothing to make that happen. Like you could
Well,
literally
no,
just
the
port.
only thing it does is it helps to build Skynet. It helps to build a system that will monitor and track you, that maybe you can't immediately monitor and track, but all it's doing is monitoring and tracking you. And because it's not being monitored and tracked by either central financial or governmental entities, somehow we're supposed to be happier about this.
Right, right. I mean, I think it's very interesting how the gamer community, even a lot of developers, have stood up against this stuff and wanted it.
Well, it's
Uh,
also the community managers are the ones who are also experiencing a lot of negative reactions from people, and I think the Team 17, the people who make Worms, in particular, they had a really rough go of it, and said we would really like you to stop this because we don't want to keep experiencing abuse from either fans or more likely just video game enthusiasts in general saying, could you please stop this?
right.
And I'm being, of course, very polite about what they were
Right.
saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The tweets were saying. I'm imagining now the tweets saying, please, sir, can you refrain from this stuff?" I know what you're saying,
Yeah,
though.
no, I don't think that's the attitude they took.
Yeah. 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 Listen, I think uh, no one should be harassing any individual. But I think a great way to voice your opinion about this stuff is when you see your favorite game developer, musician, celebrity pushing this shit. Uh, Everyone needs to reply to them and let it be known that the vast majority of people not only don't want it, they will boycott you and anything you
Yep.
do or put out there if you do this stuff. I think I want to like I want to make this clear, and I'm going to say this many. I'm sure I'm going to repeat this many times online on this show, but I want to make this crystal clear. If you are a person or a company, whether you are a celebrity, a musician, a filmmaker, actor, whatever you are, and you are involved in selling crypto, NFTs, some sort of Web3 project, you are a scammer. There's no way around it. Like, that is what you are. You are a scammer. Because that's what this is. It is a scam. If you are someone who's buying into this stuff, I'm not calling you a scammer. You're the scammed. You just don't realize it. And yes, some of you will make money.
Absolutely.
Some of you will be smart and end up walking away making money. And you know what? You'll probably be you could probably be the only people who can say that you made money off of this stuff without too much blood on your hands. But the fact of the matter is, those people are going to be very, very few. The people who are going to make the majority of the money and the most money are going to be the scammers.
Yep. And it's like, especially when you talk about thinking about like the sort of, well, if you're not the customer, you're the product sort of thing. I mean, I've mentioned this to you before, that it's very cult-like, and that's really, again, the thing that brings it back to flat earthers, QAnon, Gamergate. There's a cult-like aspect where, in this case, instead of it sort of being like a world that exists here and now, and there's sort of maybe kind of this revanchist defense of it. I really hate even having to mention the man's name, but it's like this Nick Land fantasy of let's build the cyber dystopia.
Right.
And I mean, you can't not know that this is a dystopic view of the world, and this is also why, like, all these sort of cyberpunk themed things feel kind of gauche to me, because it's like we're not supposed to actually want to build that world.
Right, yes. I mean, I guess if you are someone like, the type of person who watches zombie movies and says like, man, I wish there was actually a zombie outbreak, because it'd be totally fun to live in that world. And
because they always assume they'll be the one to survive.
Right. When in fact, they'll be the one who literally gets bit in their bed while sleeping by like their neighbor who breaks in through the window. They're literally the husband in the opening of the Dawn of the Dead remake that came out in 2004. Like, that's who they are. They're not what's her name? Polly. I can't remember her name, but she's a great actress who was the lead in that movie. They're not going to be the ones who survive in the end.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what everyone thinks, is that we're going to make it, or whatever it is.
Right.
Whatever their line is, or theirs. And again, it's all those sort of little phrases to make sure you stay on the path and you don't exceed the boundaries of the reality they want to build. And all the while, I mean, history isn't going to stop while they try to build whatever they want history to be.
Yeah.
There are other things that obviously can interrupt the whole wide world. And it's so sad that these people are so desperate for little hit of dopamine, because they haven't even actually valorized that money. They haven't pulled it out in most cases. And people saying, "Oh, I'm a crypto millionaire." Have you actually tried to turn that into real dollars that you can actually spend?
Right. Well, the funny thing is, there was one where there was one of the, I think the latest entry on Molly's website, web3isgoinggreat.com. There is this NFT project, which is basically literally drawings of rocks. Like, if you thought pet rocks from like the 80s or whenever it was from were stupid, I mean, at least you physically got to hold the rock and pretend it was whatever you wanted to pretend it was. There is an NFT project where these tokens connected to them are worth quite a lot of money, actually, and they're connected to photo drawings of rocks. And someone who owned one of these, that apparently this rock NFT is worth a big chunk of change, and they meant to put it up for like $1.5 million. The idea that someone would pay that much money for this is incredible, but bear with me, that's not the crazy part. Well, instead of putting it up for like 1.5 ether, they put it under a different currency, like like I forgot what the Wii or something like that. It's like a very small, like point zero, like 0.00 whatever of ether, and they accidentally put it for that price in the other currency. And what they really did is basically put this rock NFT that's worth a lot of money in this world. They put it up for pretty much free, and there are people who have set up these bots to basically check for mispriced NFTs that automatically snipe it up when they find it. So this person realized they put it up at the wrong price, and before they could get to it to change it, this bot sniped it and bought it for the person who was behind the bot. Basically, this person who originally had this rock NFT lost 1.5 million of the again, money on a screen, internet money. Who knows how much it was sold for, whatever. But still, and this person claims that this was a large chunk of their like savings that they just lost. Now, again, we don't know how true, how accurate everything like this is said, but this is someone who went public to share this stuff. And this is something we constantly see in this world. Cases like this where people put a lot of money into this stuff, hold on to it, and then just poof, a mistake, an error, a forgotten passphrase, some random fuck up that on any other service or platform, you could either contact for them to reverse it or click forgot password on the login screen to reset your password. Any other service that would have this solved in Web 1 or Web 2, just apparently, progress is losing all of that protection and going backwards and saying, fuck it, you just lost everything.
Well, I mean, but that's part of why this is so obviously a scam. You try to explain that to anyone else, and they'll say their eyes will roll back in their head, and they'll shake back and forth before they say this is a scam.
Right.
Well,
even then, after they get scammed, they usually double down. They're gonna make back like a gambler, right? Like an addict. They're gonna make it back. Don't worry, they're gonna make it back. They know the game. They know how to play crypto. They know how to play NFTs. They know what projects to invest into. They just gotta, they're gonna take whatever money they got left and they're gonna put it back in. They're not only gonna make their money back, they're gonna double it this time.
Yeah, and I mean that sort of both the cult-like, the addict-like aspects of it is. And what's, again, a sort of irony of the crypto world is that these people who think they're making very rational decisions actually have very emotional decision-making. And they suffer from really distinct cognitive distortions that they literally can't examine because then the whole circus collapses. And then they would realize, oh no, I actually have to get off the ride.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to put it. Because it's circus. I don't know if there's rides at a circus.
I think maybe
nowadays.
more like a merry-go-round.
Right,
I think was really probably the better, more I guess. So a part of the circus.
I don't know what circuses you go to, buddy.
Park ride.
More like a theme park, right? I'm just messing with you, because I go to a decent amount of circuses and theme parks because of the kids. I know what you meant.
I think honestly the only one I've probably been to is Playland. I don't know if it's still there.
Rye Playland?
But it's probably still killing
in New York?
people.
You talking about Rye? Oh, okay. Well, but are you talking about Rye Playland?
I think Playland has been mostly safe, at least in recent years. I might be wrong. And I'm sure it's still there.
Right. But. Well, maybe they do what Disney does when someone gets hurt or dies on a ride. They make sure that they're taken off the property first before they're declared dead. So, they can't say that someone died in Disney. That's what happens, by the way. That's truth.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, they say I'm grim. That's pretty grim.
Grim, always a pleasure. Thanks for calling in. Have a great night.
Absolutely. Take care, Matt.
Bye. All right. I do want to play this, being that, we talk about who's going to make out in crypto. I want to play this. Give me once. If you're going to call in, just give me a second. Don't call in yet. Wait for after this. I'm gonna go to the picture-in-picture screen here. It's gonna play a video from the last stream I did, which was doomed. Um, I'm gonna hang up the phone line just for a second. People are calling in just for a second, just so I could do this clip, and then I will open the phone lines again. Okay. Because people are calling in and they're gonna interrupt me. Because all I hear is the Skype call ring, do 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 do. But I'm gonna go to the picture-in-picture screen. You're going to see the old, whatever I played last on Doomed on Tuesday. Let's see what this was. Oh, right, the RT America stuff. Okay, right. Okay, but that's not for this. Let me pull up what I want to play. Oh God, is this gonna be a copyright issue? I mean, this shouldn't be because it's not actually the Twisted Sisters song. I'm gonna play it anyway because it's something I want to play. Okay, so if this gets taken down, oh man, it shouldn't be though. I'm gonna put it lower than usual just in case. Okay, so I'm about to play you a music video by Randy Zuckerberg, who Zuckerberg, you're probably saying to yourself, that sounds familiar. Does Mark Zuckerberg have a sister? Yes, he does. And yes, this is Mark Zuckerberg's sister, Randy Zuckerberg. She is apparently a big Web3 crypto NFT person now. I'm not sure how long she's been into it, but she's really deep. I mean, her Twitter profile, her username is with a blockchain domain. It's randyzuckerberg.eth. She's got basically her Twitter bio is just full. I mean, all her Twitter bio is practically is friggin'. It was. She took them out last time I checked. She says currently working with 15 plus Web3 projects. Previously, her Twitter bio was just listing every single one's Twitter handle. She also is on the board for some crypto exchange. I forget which one. And so here is someone who, again, is Mark Zuckerberg's sister, part of the Zuckerberg family. She used to work at Facebook. She was like the marketing director or something. She left, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less, formed her own media company, like her own social media firm, Zuckerberg Media. Again, Mark Zuckerberg's sister. She clearly has an array of opportunities, tons of money, I'm sure. I'm sure if she decided not to work anymore, she'd be quite comfortable. And so she's diving into crypto and Web3 stuff. And so she put together this music video ostensibly to promote this stuff. I think this does anything but there's something really specific here. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the video first. We'll laugh at it. It's funny in like a cringe way. Like I sort of feel embarrassed watching it. It's like secondhand embarrassment. But it's fun to watch because it's fun to mock someone who's very rich, obviously. So it's not very good, just to be clear. So let's play this, but there's something very specific I want to point out about this. But let's play it first. Oh my god. Oh boy.
We're all gonna make it. Yeah, we're all gonna make it. We're all gonna make it, everyone. It's just the start, so GM, carpe your crypto DM.
I want to pause it there and point out, I think David Gerard pointed this out, but takes I mean, did no one realize when they wrote that line that she's maybe she wrote it herself, which would make it extra funny. She's Mark Zuckerberg's sister. Mark Zuckerberg's company, Facebook, tried to create their own cryptocurrency called Diem, and it was a huge failure. They just couldn't put it together. They could not go through the process of all the regulatory stuff. It's probably much harder for them as an actual established huge billion-dollar corporation. Couldn't really get away with putting together a shitcoin, right? So they sold it off. They failed, and they sold it off and closed that operation, closed that attempt after they were raked over the coals in a congressional hearing. Great job, whoever wrote that line. I appreciate that one. But that's not the one I want to stick with. We'll play the part I want to repeat again because she already said it. She's going to say it throughout.
BYOR and pick a coin.
point out that every other line in this is quoting some like Web3 slogan. Like I said in the main episode with when I was talking to the interview with Molly White. I introed it by welcoming you all by saying GM. Web3 people constantly they log in every day on Twitter and they write GM, all lowercase GM. Stands for good morning. But that's like their Web3 slang to write it that way. They also say friends a lot, FRENS, which is also really funny because that comes straight from like 4chan speak. And you see a lot of literal fascists on the internet using that. Like you go on Gab and they always use that to basically refer to each other. FRENS, friends. Again, me and Molly White discussed this in the interview earlier about how there's a huge overlap between the lingo that these Web3 people, crypto bros and the like are using and the same slogans and lingo that like conspiracy theorists and neo-Nazis and white supremacists are using. Crazy how that works out. I don't know.
We won't get rugged if things go right.
I gotta pause it again. We won't get rugged if things go right. Keep that in mind because it's part of the broader point I want to make after.
See this new coin, I know she is bigger than Satoshi. So buy him up and hold on tight. ATH. We'll fight like hell. We'll hold.
I'll sell.
We're all gonna make it. LFG! We're all gonna make it. Sweep the goddamn floor. Make it. We're on a way. Yes, we are. We're all
I'm gonna go to the squares.
hands are all worthless and weak. Let's fucking go. Everyone.
Yeah, amazing. I do want to pause it on while I talk about it. I do want to pause it on Randy Zuckerberg's face here. I do want, and I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna pause it on some like random thing that looks very. Here we go. This looks like a fine place to pause it. I'm not making fun of anyone's looks here, so I'm pausing on a non-bad frame. Yeah, so it's cringe. But I want to point out some things here. Now remember, she's Randy Zuckerberg of the Zuckerberg family. Mark Zuckerberg's sister, Mark Zuckerberg family. Billionaire Mark Zuckerberg. Owner of the largest social media platform in history. And she is singing this Web3 song where the chorus is, "We're all gonna make it, everyone. We gotta be, let's hope we don't get rugged," is another line, which means basically a rug pull, which is when someone launches like a shit coin or a meme coin, and then when and they promote it, promise people that this is a great project, I'm in it for the long term. Tons of people buy into their marketing bullshit, buy in, the coin rises in its value. And the owner always, the founder of this shit coin always planned it this way. Once it hit what they thought was going to be the peak, the most this coin will get to, they then sell off all the coins they own. Remember, they didn't pay for any of that shit. They give themselves the coins up front because, again, they're the ones distributing them to begin with. They sell it all off, taking all the value out of the coin and leaving everyone who actually put money into it holding the bag because, again, and this is probably the purest way to make this example. When you sell any crypto, because there's no company behind it, there's no actual revenue behind it, when you sell off any crypto, Bitcoin included, the money you make when you get more than you put in comes directly from what other people put in. So that's basically what a rug pull is. And then another line she says is, oh man, what's the other one she says? The carpe diem. I already said the rug pull one. Where if you got to hodl, whatever the fuck they say, and the guy, someone says, "I'm gonna sell," and they go, "No." All right, all that in mind. The hodl thing, don't sell. The let's hope we don't get rugged, and then the chorus of "We're all going to make it, everyone." I'd like to remind you all, this is an extremely rich, probably part of one of the wealthiest families in America, person saying this to people like me and you, who will, if all of everyone watching this combined, our entire, like every amount of, like the entirety of our salaries throughout our entire life, any asset we ever hold, our net worth, the negative amount, whatever it is, if we all combined it, we wouldn't be like close to a single digit or even a point something percentage of what this family's worth. Literally having the nerve to tell you we're all going to make it, everyone. We're not all going to make it. That's that clear. We see it every day. The average American can't afford $400 in an emergency. We're already not making it. It's unbelievable. In the rug pull, let's hope we don't get rugged. I mean, you, I guess, could put a ton of money in and just hope you don't get rugged. But while you sell your scam to people who aren't familiar with this stuff, and you convince them to put their money into it, and they do get rugged, I can tell you they lose a lot more than just the hope they don't get rugged. Then, oops, I got rugged. That lost pocket change. No, people's lives are certainly have already been ruined. But imagine how many more. Imagine the people who watch this video. And, listen, I know a lot of people are making fun of it, but there is a swath of people who look up to people like Randy Zuckerberg. Like, literally go on Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook page. Look at the comments to his post. If you're on Twitter with your like very your very curated audience that like mocks these billionaires, of course you probably think everyone hates them, but go to a Mark Zuckerberg Facebook post and look at the comments. The vast majority of people are like, "Oh, you're so inspiring. I wish I could be you, Mark. You're such a smart person. And they're trying to like promote it. Oh, I want to be just like you. I've started this like tech startup, and please check it out." It's depressing. So without a doubt, there are people listening to Randy Zuckerberg too. And then, of course, the hodl thing. Don't sell. I mean, they don't want you to sell because these are their projects. And when you sell so you can actually make money off of this bullshit, you are devaluing their project. And that's the last thing they want. Like, there's so much doublespeak here. You're going to make a ton of money when you sell, but don't you dare fucking sell. Don't you dare fucking sell. Because, of course, when you sell and make money, their project isn't worth as much. And of course, they'll eventually sell when the time is right for them. And they're not going to feel bad for you when you're left holding the bag. Alexis in the YouTube chat says Randy Zuckerberg net worth $200 million. Right. And if she lost whatever her net worth is, whatever she has, if she lost it all, I can assure you she'll be just fine too. I didn't even realize Molly's in the YouTube chat. Hey, Molly, great for you to join us in the YouTube chat. That's awesome. Thank you so much for talking. Let me reopen the Skype line. Again, that's Doomed Live. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me for the show. Seriously, it was, I think everyone will agree too. Awesome. All right, phone lines are back open. I'll do another 1 or 2 calls, and then we'll wrap it up here. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, this is Dr. Gus. How's it going?
Hey, Dr. Gus. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I was just calling since you were talking about people getting scammed and people with gambling issues. I was hoping to tell you the story of a guy I know, just like 1 degree of separation, that had kind of had a mental crisis because of this whole crypto stuff.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please. I want to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
after last week's episode, there's nothing more I would like if every one of these post shows were just filled with people telling me their own personal stories or secondhand stories from people they know. That was an amazing episode of the post show last week, and I seriously, probably next week or maybe the week after, I got to drop some of those post show clips as part of the main show, because it was just amazing to hear that, and sort of what the best case scenario for this show is. Like that's like what I was talking about with Molly in the interview earlier. All you see in the media is like the quote unquote success stories, and I mean, just last week we heard from like a half dozen people who told me just how many times they almost got scammed on a dating app with via crypto. But go ahead. Let's hear this.
Yeah. So I got 2 stories actually, but let's go with this one. This one's the more serious one, I guess. So I have a very good friend whose brother has always struggled with pretty severe mental health issues. I'm not sure exactly what, but I think some kind of bipolar disorder. He goes through, what's it called, manic and depressive states. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, and he's a young white guy. Anyway, yeah. So, So, when the whole crypto stuff, well, actually, right when this previous market crash with COVID happened, crypto blew up everywhere. Like everywhere around, everyone around me was doing it, because basically using the excuse that they're getting the people that didn't actually need the money, that were getting those government checks, mostly young people my age in college. They were like just gambling basically with that money. And that was kind of how a lot of people started, including me. I just messed around with that money as well. Started getting into this crypto stuff. So this is what happened. So as I started doing this, my friend also got into it, and she started telling me stories about how her brother, that she hadn't spoken to in years because they had a fallout, right now started talking to her again because he found out that she was buying crypto with that government money through family members. He found out. So she was she got very much into it, learning about crypto, because it was the only thing that got her closer to her brother. She said this was the only thing that they had talked about in maybe 5-6 years that they could have a normal conversation over. So that was kind of like the emotional connection there that brought them together. And then so the way we were talking, the way I was approaching this whole crypto stuff is just like, whatever, it's gambling. Don't put money that you actually need, and it's just super volatile. You likely lose money. A lot of people lose money because they put in money that they need, and then they have to sell this stuff for real life needs at a loss. That happens all the time.
Right. That always is the case, right? Well, the people who put in the money, like, 'cause that's the thing. Like, if you could hold on to this forever, like, that's also the thing when people say, "Oh man, if only I bought way back when Bitcoin was worth whatever much lower amount than it is now." I mean, are you super rich? Because if you're super rich, I mean, I don't think you'd be that upset about it because you're already rich. But unless you're super rich, you would have probably sold much earlier than now. Like, if you got in when it was like $75 for a Bitcoin, you probably would have sold when it was a couple hundred or maybe even 1,000 or a couple thousand. If you got in when it was worth a couple thousand, you probably would have sold off in like, when was it? 2017, I think it was, where that first big crypto boon at the end of the year, where like Bitcoin went up to like 17,000 for the first time, and everyone was like, "Oh my God!" Probably would have sold off then. Like the idea that if you got in early, you would have been able to hold on till it hit like 60,000, like it did over last summer, is like I mean it's just highly unlikely you would have not at any point either needed that money or just been like I could really use whatever it's worth now in my savings account, and I don't know where it's gonna go from here, so I'm selling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually messing with crypto when it was like $1. When Bitcoin was $1. I couldn't figure out how to open a wallet, which was the biggest barrier to getting in. But for sure, if I got into Bitcoin, I had some Bitcoin at $1, I probably wouldn't. If it made it to 30, I would have been like, "Fuck this! I'm selling. I need this money." You know.
Right.
There's no way I would have waited more. But anyway, so this guy, when Robinhood is another platform that got a lot of people hooked into this. So this guy, he has no financial history. No, his credit's bad. He's done some things in life, and but through Robinhood, he learned how to do trading on margin. Do you know what that is?
I feel like I did know what it was because I looked up all this shit when the whole meme stock thing happened, and I was like super into understanding it because again I felt like it overlapped with this stuff a lot. I mean, in many aspects, it was the kickoff of all this where we currently are in the whole scam economy. But I forgot. So if you're familiar, can you run it by me really quick?
So I'm a little familiar too. I just got in same thing when the whole GameStop thing happened. That's when I started learning about all this stuff. But basically, I think what trading on margin is if you, like, for example, Robinhood would let you do, if you put like $50 in your platform, they'll let you borrow. On top of that, they'll let you borrow a percentage of that.
It's like the loan, right? The loan of the like a percentage. They give you a percentage of how much you have in stock, and it's got to be obviously when you're in the green. Like if you put like $10,000 in the stock market and you only have 2,000 left, that percentage is only of the 2,000, not of whatever you lost as well.
Right. Yeah. And there's also the famous story of this guy that figured out a glitch on the Robinhood app, and he was able to like infinitely request more margin, and then he lost everything in like a second. It's a pretty funny story.
There's that really sad story. I don't remember if it was I think it was a margin of like a teen playing around with this stuff on Robinhood, and I don't remember exactly what the case was, but the app showed that he lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, which apparently, if you're familiar with how it works, it shows that amount before adjusting itself once the market opens or whatever. And he saw that and didn't know that information and committed suicide thinking his family now owed hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so that's super sad. Yeah, I've heard that story. Before there's another famous one of this guy, the guy that did it for the first time that became famous about it. There's actually a live reaction of him watching his portfolio just blow up when the market opens. You can just find him online. He's kind of a meme now. But yeah, so these platforms basically are giving giant loans to people that have nothing to back them up with. And so the way I understand it is these loans come with a caveat that if you make a bet or whatever, you buy a stock or you buy crypto, and then if the purchase that you made goes down a significant amount, I guess the lender tells you like how much, they have the right to pull the money back from you automatically from the account. I think it's called like a margin call, maybe something like that. So basically, if the company sees, if the platform sees that you're losing too much of the money that they lent you, they just take it back. They force you to sell whatever you bought with that money. They take it back, and then you owe them the rest, pretty much.
Right.
So you have all these teens getting all these free money to just gamble on really volatile things, right? And a lot of them started doing it with the stock market. They would just buy options, which are pretty volatile, really volatile, or like regular stocks, and they were losing tons of money. So then all these platforms started doing the same for crypto, which you've seen. Like if the stock market on a regular day goes up and down by 1%, crypto can do it by like 10, 20. So it's insanely dangerous and volatile. And then on top of that, people are buying futures and like options on crypto. So it's like volatility squared. It's insane. So
Right.
this guy basically he got lucky a couple of times because everybody's a genius in a bull run when everything's going up. Everyone's a genius. So he with the initial government COVID assistance check, he doubled that. So then he borrowed money, or he took money from family members and friends. He was making his own like little investment fund. He just showed them, and I mean they were wanted to help him. Few $1,000s, also his savings, and he started doing the same with crypto, just buying options and all that. And it went up to a good, I think, about $20,000 of his money and money that he borrowed from people, or that he was supposed to be like investing for them. And then he got access to trading on margin on crypto, and he ended up making trades for 50 grand. This is a person that has no capital backing any of that. Like this is actual money that he needs. Like he's a student. He's actually a college student.
Right.
And he made a giant $50,000 bet on several contracts. Like he basically bet after crypto crashed, maybe like a month ago, there was a pretty big crash. So after that pretty big crash, he bought a bunch of contracts saying that everything was going to go up. Because it started going up, and it went up by like 5%, and then it just completely plummeted right away, and he lost everything. He lost $50,000. So about half of that was the money that he owed to whatever. There were some credit cards, there was some margin, there was some money from family members and friends. So he basically like completely destroyed his financial situation, and also he really messed up his social situation as well, like to the point that because of his history of mental health problems, his parents they were so scared of him doing something dumb that they actually helped him out a little bit to pay off some of those debts, and made him move in with them for several months. These are people that are about to retire. They were like, planning on retirement right now. They forced him to move in with them to keep an eye on him and keep him safe after this whole crash. And I mean, he seems to be doing okay now, but yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm so like doing that on the stock market is insane, especially if you've got no idea what you're doing. But and this again, I always have to say this is an endorsement of the stock market. Far from it. I think that's super predatory too. But at least with that, you can look into what are mostly considered, again, anything could happen, what are mostly considered safe investments, or look into a company, like a established company's financials, and base your stock picks on them, and for example. But in crypto, it makes even less sense. I mean, and again, even that is super risky. But in crypto, there's none of even that. Like, there's none of that. Like, it can just, like, whatever you invest in for no reason whatsoever, just completely fall to shit in minutes. And I think like the especially right now, what we've seen, like the ebbs and flows and like Bitcoin and Ethereum, like I think it's super risky right now too, because you'll see it immediately go up and then drop off big time, and then for no reason, as if as if there's some big money people or, I don't know, maybe some tethers being pumped into the market. All of a sudden, overnight, it'll just shoot up in a 20-minute time span, and then all of a sudden, the market will correct itself later on. I mean, I would not trust it at all. There's not even the most basic regulation there to even make sure that things are somewhat not completely screwed up. I think that's insane to do that. Your buddy, acquaintance, what was he again?
Just a good friend's brother. I don't really know him. I just know him from stories.
Your good friend's brother. Your good friend's brother who you've heard through the ancient folklore of whatever of the crypto realm. They are crazy. They are crazy, and
Yeah.
Did they learn their lesson, or are they convinced that they just need a little bit of money and they can make it all back?
No. So this crypto cycle, I guess, or whatever it's called, had some. It had one big drop, right? And he lost a lot of money then. And then obviously what he did, instead of cashing out or like trying to pay off the debts, what he did is he doubled down into riskier bets to make the money back, right? And that's when the second drop came and he lost everything. So as part of the deal to bail him out and help him out, his parents said that he had to move in with them so they could keep an eye on him for his own safety because of his history of mental health issues, and also that he had to shut down every single one of his investment accounts and anything that had to do with crypto. He was not allowed to do any crypto, any investment for, I don't know. It's been a couple months now, he's been out of it. But I'm sure that I'm sure it's an addiction, right? If you're that deep into doing risky trading like that, I'm sure if they just let him do it, he'll go right back into it.
Damn. Thanks for sharing that story. I think it's really, again, I love these stories for this. I mean, I don't love they happened, but they happened, and people should hear about them. There's very few places that are sharing these negatives, which I like the crypto sobs. I don't want to call it sob story either, because that sounds like I'm downplaying it or something. These negative crypto stories, and I think they far, like not even close, outweigh the number of like positive crypto stories. Yet that's all you hear. Especially like, there's some outlets that are just so like ridiculous, but the CNBC is probably maybe the worst of the mainstream offenders. I mean, obviously, I'm not thinking of like Bitcoin Magazine and like those outlets that are just basically exist to pump coin, but CNBC is horrible at it. I think they should, someone should look into what the hell is going on there. Maybe I will. Thanks for the call, Dr. Gus. Always a pleasure when you call in.
Great. Thanks for having me, Matt. Have a good night.
Have a great night. All right. We had a bunch of people try to call in, and I said one or two before. Depending on how long these calls are, I'll take one or two. I'll take one more pretty long call. When I mean pretty long, I mean pretty long for a call. Or if this next call is short, I'll take two. Let's see. But there's also a few super chats I want to read while we wait for people to call back in. Kowalski with a super chat. Your shirt is at the is in the post office. Need to get sudden now. Well, thank you, Kowalski, for the Kowalski Farm shirt. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Alan in North Carolina. I've called before, I think.
Hey, Alan. Yeah,
I've called in twice.
You're the only person tonight so far to have your video chat, your video feed on. Can I pull you into the stream?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Just move over to your left just a little bit. Perfect. There we go. How you doing, Alan? What's going on? What was it to talk about?
I just think it's like so crazy that like people just like throw these ideas out and they have like so little concept of how like these things actually work. So it's like somebody that it was like, hey, but like we talk about like how with like I think it was like Web3 said it was called. These names are so
Right.
similar to other things that sometimes I get a little confused because anytime I
Web3
hear like W3,
Web3. Oh, you're thinking of W3. Right. I know what you're talking about. But Web3
yeah,
is
like anytime
basically
I see like W and 3 like really close together, I automatically think of W3 schools,
right.
which
Right,
is
that's
open
not
source.
this.
Well,
That's
open
not
source is
this.
completely free.
Right. That's
It's not this. It's not
this
what
this is like the opposite of that. Right. Yes. This is like how can we take that W3 stuff and extract money out of it for us and pretend we're making money for you. And we're also going to pretend that whatever that W3 thing we stole was, we're going to pretend we invented it as well. That's what Web3 is.
And it's really crazy because when you talk about like, I think this is something you guys were talking about in the show today with Molly. You were talking about how she was talking about how like with Wikipedia specifically, like, but there's this huge group of the majority of people online. There's like agreement about like the majority of users have like this. It's like this social construct about like things being free and the free share information, and it's so crazy that now with like crypto and like I mean, it was already this way, but it was mostly like just companies doing it. But now it's like so many regular people online are so hell-bent on like making everything monetized through like crypto or like tying things to the blockchain in some way that it just, I mean, it's just so antithetical to like everything that like the entire basis of what the internet is kind of built upon.
Right.
Or it's supposed to be like around like this free share of information. And then like people start throwing around these words like, I don't know, like API or like metadata or like different things, and then like they misuse the words. So they're like, so like halfway through talking to them, you're like, oh, you don't actually know what this is, do you? Like, and then so like, because like they hear about it from other places, and then like this game of like telephone happens, right? Where like the person you're talking to has like heard about this from someone else that didn't really know what it was, and then like over and over again. So like now the idea of like what of like even how like game code works is so like far removed from the actuality of like what's happening.
Right.
So
I want to point out that it's fine to not know what this stuff is. Like it's totally okay, and you can even have an opinion on it. But don't pretend you know what it is and like sell your non-existent knowledge as to why it's good. Do you know what I mean? Like we're dealing with.
Really
I know that's not what you're saying, but I want people to make sure they understand that like it's fine to not know what this stuff is. But these crypto folks don't know what they're talking about, but they not only pretend they do, they use their lack of knowledge, which they're selling to you as knowledge, to convince you that you're wrong and to buy in because they really want to extract money from you. Like it's the most like it's one of the most predatory things I can think of. It's like I can't even think of an analogy because you know, I actually do believe these people know what they like think they know what they're talking about in a lot of sense. Like I think they've convinced themselves to believe it. Like I would say most scammers know they're scamming for the most part. I don't know if that's the case here. I think some of these people are really like drinking their own Kool-Aid, to be quite frank. I mean, there definitely are those type of scammers who know they're scamming, but I think there's also a decent amount of people in this space who are drinking their own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and it almost becomes this thing where like they're so confident in their own definitions of these things, or like their own idea of what these things are, that you almost like start rethinking like your own. So like now I'm like Googling words that I already know what these words mean, and now I'm Googling them because I'm like, am I wrong? Like, is this
right? That's what they want you to do. Yeah, that's.
Instance?
I mean, that's how scams work, right? That's how traditionally scams work. Like, for example, most scams, most non-crypto scams, I should say, are basically social engineering hacks. they get you on the phone or in a live chat. Phone is always great because once you hear another voice and hear a human on the other end, there's just a natural human instinct to just connect and feel, and you want to trust. I mean, you really have to train yourself to not be like that. But when someone gets you on the phone and tells you they're like Amazon customer service and you just need to like send them a bunch of gift cards so they can fix your Amazon issue, they know they're scamming you. Like, they know they're fucking with you. They know they're about to steal money from you, and they are fully aware and accepting of, hell yeah, I'm about to scam this motherfucker. They're trusting me? But how stupid are they? In crypto, like, it's so bizarre. Like, there's those people do exist, absolutely, but also there's a lot of people who are like, no, I'm really trying to help you. I mean, it's weird, and they convince you that you're going to win. You are going to make money, or you are going to find this community. This is where like the cult stuff kicks in, where it's not. It's often all about money. It's often all about money.
It's like the MLM level of
right.
it.
Yes. It's often all about money. For the most part, it's all about money. For most people, it's all about money. There are people who are looking for a community. And that's how they get sucked into this shit. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It's a lot of people who are literally being gaslit into, even if they think they're onto it at first, if they allow the crypto advocate or Web3 project owner to keep grinding them down and working on them, they're probably going to second guess their own correct original thoughts or beliefs or assertion or their deduction of what's happening. And then they're going to go, maybe I am missing out on an opportunity. And that's when you get people falling down the rabbit hole. And that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, and that's like really the sad part about it is like when you encounter these people that you can tell they like just got like sucked into it, and they really like either they found like they've made some money off of it, so like now they're fully bought in. They're like they're now like, oh no, this works. Like it worked for me. Like I want to help you because I know you could use the money or something like that. But they don't realize that like how quickly it could all fall apart. Like you make like one wrong. I mean, and it's like that with the stock market too. Like the things that these things are based off of. It's not like this is like a new thing, right? Like this is like an evolution of older things that already existed, right? A lot of it is crypto now is really a lot of the systems that are in place now are really based off the stock market and the and like multi-level marketing, and it's like these companies come in and they're like they see their payday on like one end, and most of them aren't even making money off of the actual like crypto. They're making money off of the mechanisms behind the crypto, or like how you're finding out about the crypto or something like that. So their money is secured, right?
Right, absolutely.
Because they're not actually, their money's not actually tied to a crypto in this, like they're like a marketing agency or something, right? So like they don't care if people lose money on the crypto because their money's not tied to the crypto. Their money is tied to you buying the crypto. So
absolutely.
It's like,
I mean, a lot of these, like, especially when we're talking about like meme coins and altcoins and stuff. I mean, a lot of times the money that they put into the like billion coins of their own, again, a billion coins of their own crypto, like they didn't actually buy those coins. I mean, the money they put into it is whatever their cost was, like to start it up and pay a developer to, create the whole, the token and the contract and the blockchain or whatever. And get it on the exchanges if they pay someone to do that or whatever. They have costs there, but they're not actually invested in the number of coin that they have like you are when you buy in. So
right.
When if they're actually not setting up a rug pull and are, I guess, as legit as any of this shit could be, which again, still a scam, but even if they have good intentions, whatever they lose is not going to be as much as how much the people who actually bought the coin loses. And when they sell, they make a lot more than whatever people who do end up also selling and making money end up making, because they, again, had to actually pay for the coin, the token or whatever. So, you know, they always have the upper hand, always. And that's what she's talking about, like, when they create their own version. I'm not even getting into like the insider information they have when they buy into this stuff, or a buddy of theirs who starts one of these projects gives this to them in exchange for, by the way, without any disclosure, you know, gives them some of this asset in exchange for promoting it to their huge social media following. You know, absolutely.
And then there's like all these celebrities that are into it now, right? You have like, and you would think that like Reese Witherspoon.
Oh,
like
you know, there's absolutely no reason for any of these celebrities to be into this shit. It is beyond infuriating to see them do this, because these are the people who I would say the vast majority are going to get suckered by, to be quite frank. Because, you know, I don't trust some business face, the founder of some company. I think most people wouldn't look at that and be like, that's a trustworthy person. Well, there's Elon Musk and all his, you know, all his fan groups. But, you know, I think he's an anomaly. Most people would not be like, you know, see a picture of like a huckster in a suit and be like, I trust that person. But a lot of people have these parasocial relationships with celebrities, and they trust them. Like Justin Bieber goes out and promotes an NFT. He's got a large fan base of people who fawn all over him, who will do anything he says.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with like money laundering, or money laundering in like a, not like in like a the money was ever like kind of like dirty way, but just like hiding it in a way to like avoid paying taxes or something like that, or like they're related to somebody that's into this stuff really deep, or they're brought onto it by their agencies or something.
Oh, right.
You know,
I talked about this on one. I got to do a full episode on this. I talked about it on the Busy Phillips podcast. Because she saw one of the celebrities who is anti crypto and NFTs, which I love. I love that when a celebrity comes out with a strong stance on this. So she basically had me on her podcast because she saw Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton, that clip of them pumping their apes, and she thought this was ridiculous. And so we brought up, because who was it that looked? I think Max Reed, who has a good newsletter. He's a former Gawker writer. Max Reed basically like drew a line between all the celebrities who were pumping this stuff.
I saw that on Twitter.
Right, the line from the celebrities that pumped this stuff to their agency, the Creative Arts Agency, the CAA, and the CAA investment into OpenSea. I mean,
right.
It's amazing. I mean, it shouldn't be surprising that this is how it works, but I mean, the direct line was drawn, and when you see the visual photo of the dots being connected, it's still incredible.
And then you're like, and then you like wonder like how much of this is just like people trying to get their next thing off the ground, and how much like it's just so surreal to like see this stuff in like real time, because I guess because I'm so young that like I haven't ever been like someone would be like, oh yeah, like what are we gonna think about this stuff like 10, 20 years from now? Like I wonder if, like, will it still be going on? Like I don't know. I can't imagine that. At the rate it's going now, it could survive. But
I would say don't make any speculation about it. I mean, it's just something it's not even worth speculating, because it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if this dies off. I mean, it matters in terms of like good. You know, if it dies, that's great. But it doesn't matter, because what's important is that, like, it doesn't matter because actually the longer it's around and the bigger it gets, the more important it is to warn people about it, quite frankly. So, like, you know, If it died tomorrow,
Yeah.
that's great. We could wash our hands of it, and we could make postmortems, write postmortems and obituaries, warning future generations about this shit. But if it doesn't, and most likely it won't anytime soon, at least, I mean, that just means that our talking about it in this very frank way is just that much more necessary. Like, just this discussion we're having. If just one person listens to this, and says, "Oh shit, I'm definitely not doing that," good. You know what I mean?
And it's just like the concepts that these people are peddling. Like, I just can't imagine how they would actually work. Like, so we were talking about like I brought up Reese Witherspoon. She has like I think multiple like entertainment deals with like different like streaming services or things like that, where she produces like content for them. Like, so like these, because usually what happens is like these celebrities get like, they have like these prolific careers and they get big and they start producing a lot of content to like a lot of projects in different areas that they take some vested interest in or whatever. And now she has this deal where she's like agreed to produce like crypto content or like NFT based series or something. I don't remember what the exact
right, there's an NFT
announcement was.
There's an NFT project called Women of the World, and they are going to they made a deal with the because she didn't make it. She didn't. It's some artist behind it. I don't know. And so they basically the CAA, of which, by the way, she is married to a CAA agent. So there's another line drawn right there. Amazing, isn't it? They signed that artist behind the Women of the World NFT project, and they're going to make either a movie or a series or some sort of a film or TV product based on this Women of the World NFT project, which again essentially is a vehicle to promote the NFT. Because that's what they're looking at. You know what I mean? That's where the money is for them.
But then, like, part of me feels like it's just doomed because, like, okay, so have you heard of that Peacock series about like the Tiger King versus Carol Baskin, I think it is.
Right.
So it's like that's so over now. Like that, like it wasn't even worth making a series about because nobody really cares. Or like it's like some ways it's too close to it because everybody remembers it. So it's not like one of those things like, oh yeah, remember that thing that happened, and and now it's over. So like the hype has gone. So the hype has died down. So it's like so it's coming out in like this weird space where like nobody cares about it anymore, and it's too close to it to make people nostalgic about it. So I just can't imagine that this craze, like I know crypto will probably keep going in some form or fashion, or like the blockchain will probably be, but I can't, like this current craze, like this current mass consumerism around NFTs, I just can't see that lasting much longer, like the craze around it.
There's definitely there's a bubble for the whole industry, but I would say there's an especially poppable bubble around NFTs in particularly.
Because I don't even think any regular people are that bought into it.
Right. If crypto somewhat is enticing to normal everyday people who don't really get this stuff, I sort of understand the allure. I don't think that allure is there for NFTs for the average person. And I think it's much more likely for NFTs to die off, or, the idea of NFTs to die off than crypto as a whole, to be quite frank. But yeah.
Because I think in the underlying sense, crypto is pretty simple to understand. Like if you can sell it pretty simply, like, because it's just a currency, right? You're just trading things for, like, it's just like you're trading or like you can sell it as like a stock or something. But like I think NFTs are like, and like they look so dumb. like most of them look so dumb that it's like nobody can really see like they're like people are like this can't have value. Like I can see that, like I can have that image. I can just grab that image right now. Like how could it be worth anything? Like it's so antithetical to what the internet is that I just think that I don't know. I don't see it catching on, but hope. I guess part of it is hope because it's so antithetical to the internet, to my view of what the internet is as someone that is deeply invested. I mean, I grew up on the internet. I went to school for computer science, so I have a vested knowledge in how a lot of this stuff works and the sort of the ideology behind what people have sort of turned the internet into versus what it's become today. And I really thought we were going somewhere with like open source, and then all of a sudden out of the it feels like it kind of got birthed out of the pandemic in a way. Like I feel like a lot of this stuff was just kind of like bubbling under the surface.
Yes.
And then like people were like bored and everybody somehow became a trader, and then everybody sort of became like
people it's the same. Again, an overlap with QAnon. People like a political minded person, a conspiratorial thinker, before they realized they were a conspiratorial thinker, they were home bored or had a lot more free time because they were working from home, and they would go online, and if they were interested in politics or current events, they would get sucked into QAnon conspiracy theories or anti-vaxxer conspiracy theories, or both in many ways. But if you were basically looking for ways to make money or like more into like business type stuff, then this was your QAnon. You got sucked down the crypto rabbit hole.
But like in a way, it's like almost worse than that because you don't see commercials about like random conspiracy theories, but you could very well see a commercial about a random cryptocurrency, right?
Right.
So it's like this weird thing where like it's somehow become so widespread that like now it's like Cash App like is running like commercials with like Megan Thee Stallion, like talking about being able to trade your crypto with as little as $1. Like it's like this weird. Like,
wait, there's a Meg Thee Stallion commercial for crypto.
Yeah, because she has a deal with Cash App, so she has I mean, so many people have deals with Cash App now, right? So Cash App, she has a deal with Cash App where, like, first it was just Cash App itself, and then it was stocks, and now it's crypto. So Cash App,
right.
So as Cash App expanded to become like this mass like trading thing, where like it used to be just trading money. And then it was like, oh, well, you can trade not just money. You can also trade stocks through Cash App. And now you can trade crypto. I don't remember if it was stocks or crypto first. But, I mean, in a way, Cash App is actually it's a much better way to do crypto than something like Robinhood. Because you don't actually have access. You don't have free access to the stuff through Robinhood. You have to do trading through Robinhood. But whereas with Cash App, like, you have an actual wallet. So, like, I could trade my Bitcoin I can just send someone Bitcoin through Cash App, but I can't do that.
I see what you're saying, but I also want to say there's no good way to buy crypto. Just don't.
Right,
do
but in a way, like in the alternate reality of like, if in a sense, if there were no other downsides to like Bitcoin and like you like. And people were actually using it for the actual purpose. Like there's like if you buy Bitcoin on Robinhood, there's no way to even connect it to what Bitcoin's actually supposed to be.
I know what you're saying. When you buy crypto on Robinhood, it basically has to sit in Robinhood. You can't actually do anything with it.
Right. You don't actually have the Bitcoin. It's
right.
Just,
you can't trade it to somebody else. You can't buy something.
They give you an NFT.
What little you can.
They give you an NFT for the Bitcoin.
You can't buy an illegal drug even. But. Thanks for the call. I just realized that there's a few other people on the line. I want to get to at least one more. Always appreciate when
All
you
right.
call in. Great.
Yeah, I really enjoy the show. So
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Have a great night.
you as well.
All right. I will take one more call. To everybody else, I promise you. I will take your call next week if I don't get to you today. So there was a few people who wanted to call in. Let me message them. This person I promised, I think, because they wanted to tell me about a scam. I just lost everybody. I clicked the call to pick the call, and I just lost everybody. How did that happen? I'm gonna get a better phone system. I think Skype is really convenient, just how easy it is for me to grab it, but I know it's not as stable for everybody. I will definitely. Here we go. Hey, what's your name? Where you? Oh, they're still loading. Hello? Hello? That's bizarre. Hello? Hello? Weird. I think I have to sign out of Skype. Something just happened. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, folks. Things happen. Things happen sometimes. You know, technology, huh? If only this was on the blockchain, right? It would have been all these tech issues would have been solved. All right. Let's try one more time here. Dun, 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 dun. Michael says Discord over Skype. I'll look into setting up on Discord. They were super chats. Lived it with a super chat. $20 super chat. Two $20 super chats this week. Slice Keeper and Lived it. Thank you. Salute, Matt. Still supporting you from Queens. Called in a while ago. Could use your input and some on a local story with substantial broader significance. I forgot the app you had me download. Business/social email. Email me at DM me at Matt Binder on Twitter. Or email me at matt@xmattx.com. Let's see if this works. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Cameron Robson. I don't know what just went on there. Some kind of crazy thing. I'm calling from Moncton, New Brunswick, in Canada.
Hey, did you called into the to my other show, Doomed, earlier this week, right?
I did, yes.
Can I pull you up on the feed? I realized you're using video. Could I pull you into the feed?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, cool. Please do.
All right. What would you like to talk about? You're the one who called in with the Hong Kong. Right.
Yeah, I did want to get one Hong Kong in there. And
okay.
Whether you're on board for that. I just want to talk to you about I had a recent foray into crypto. I got sold some cryptos, and I'm worrying that I might have gotten scammed. I got them right here. These are the cryptos. I was sold these cryptos, and
right,
they're pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good crypto. But the reason that I thought that there might have been a scam was.
Is that Honey Nut Coin?
Huh?
Is that Honey Nut Coin?
Well, it's just they were sold to me as cryptos. I don't know that much about the technology. People have been telling me that it's a good thing to invest in, but I got suspicious that it might be a scam because this was the box that they came in, and I don't know if it looks like it might be a fake box. So I just wanted to get your opinion on whether or not you think that is there any type of recourse that I could get?
I got to tell you that unfortunately you cannot get your funds back, but I can tell you that you are in luck because you have on your hands a quite valuable speculative asset. I think you can possibly put that on OpenSea for, quite frankly, like 300 Ether. You might be in the money, buddy.
So if I throw this box of cryptos into the sea, someone will give me a bottle of ether.
Or bottom of Ether. Yeah. Yes, actually. I think that's the best way to. That we should leave it there.
Well,
I think that's
shucks,
that's
that
that's
is that works for me.
Thanks so much for the call, man. This was great. This was really
Thanks for taking me. Have a
good.
good
Have
night.
a great night. Honk honk.
Honk honk, baby.
Oh, that was great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is. Oh, whoops, wrong thing. You can see the green screen, not perfect. All right, that's the show, folks. This was another great episode, another great post show. Literally been on a roll between this and Doomed, and the post shows for both. My God, just been on a roll, which means man, I'm a great promoter, right? I'm great at promotional and marketing work, right? I was about to say, which means next week's shows are gonna suck. No, but I mean. I don't know, actually. Next week's shows could possibly even outdo this week's shows. I'm still working on them. So I will leave you guys for the week. Who knows? Maybe something's going to come up. Maybe there'll be some last-minute breaking news, and I feel like I'll have to do an emergency stream, whether it be for Doomed or Scam Economy. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But, one more super chat just came in. Got to get to it, because I always promise the super chats. Kowalski with a super chat, Hong Kong, and then Lived It with another super chat, $10. Matt, I don't use these apps. I got it to reach out. I left a message there. Can you post the email you mentioned there too? Absolutely. Let me send you. Where are you? Where'd it go? Here you go. I think this is you from Queens, right? I'll send it to you right now. I'll let everybody know, too, one more time. Email matt@xmattx.com. Although I'm going to set up an email related to the show, I swear. Or at Matt Binder on Twitter. Folks, patreon.com/Matt Binder if you are not a patron. It would be really a big help if you can. Big help financially support the show so I can spend more time on it. The next goal is to bring some people on board to help me create more content. Because I think I am if I'm not at the maximum output a single person can do, while also maintaining a full-time day job. And quite frankly, I'm doing a number of other things, work-wise, that I will inform you all about soon. I can't quite yet. In addition to both shows, Doomed and Scam Economy, I think I am either at the maximum output or close to it. So again, patreon.com/Matt Binder if you can support the show monetarily. If you cannot, I'm going to make a super big push here for this. If you cannot support the show monetarily on Patreon, then please, 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 please go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave a review. It's a big help. It really helps people find the show. I can see a direct correlation between the reviews coming in, the placement on the charts on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify's rankings, and what the downloads are for each episode based on where we are in the rankings for that week. It's a huge help. So again, number one, if you can, Patreon is the best way to help. Number two, and this is number one, if you can't do Patreon, leave reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, I shouldn't say this now because we're about to end the stream, but one-off donations via Super Chat on YouTube is a big help. I'll put together some other way to do one-off donations as well, so you can do it even when there's not a live stream. Another way to do a big, I said on the first half of the show, on the interview, Twitch. Subscribe on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every single month, which means you get to take money from Jeff Bezos and Amazon at no extra cost to you and give it to me. I mean, it's the simplest thing. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, there's no reason why, unless obviously you're subscribed to someone else with your Twitch Prime subscription, you just get one. I understand that. I'm not going to tell you to take it away from some other streamer. But if you're not using it, or you're looking to give it to somebody new this month, because you have to manually resubscribe every month with a Twitch Prime subscription too, by the way. If you aren't subscribed with it, or you're looking for someone new to subscribe to, twitch.tv/MattBinder. I want to shout someone out, actually. Rude Dog 2525 on Twitch gave out 5 community gift subscriptions on Twitch during this post show. Thank you so much, Rude Dog. Or should I call you Kind Dog? That was very nice. A few super chats. Just wait, one more actually. A few. James with a super chat, a Canadian super chat, eh? I have a comment, but it's too long for super chat. Read below. Okay, and let me see what James said. I went to a webinar on funding game studios, and 2 of the 4 panelists were crypto/NFT shills. It was ridiculous. The thing was run by a government organization here in Ontario and helps fund game studios with grants. I tried to push back on it, and they deleted my comments. Can you send this to me? Was it recorded? It sounds like it was a live stream or something. Can you send me either a link to the live stream or a link to like the website that had the information on like who were the panelists and what the gist of this whole panel was about? Send me it. Twitter, at MattBinder on Twitter, or by email, matt@xmattx.com. All right, folks, that's the show. Who should I raid on Twitch, by the way? I have no idea. Give me something, raider, Twitch streamers. Who should I raid? Always like raiding someone before I leave. I'll look at the comments to see who to raid, but while I wait for that, I want to just say thank you, everybody. Whether you're just a Scam Economy fan, or you're also a fan of Doomed, or you're just like me. I appreciate your support, even if your support is just tuning in. Let people know about the show. That's another way you could support. Just tell your friends, family members, tell people online when you see them pumping crypto, drop in those replies. Tell them to check out scameconomy.com. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I will see you all next time on, as always says, oof, that pronunciation of Ontario. Have a great night, everybody. And I will see you all next time in the Scam Economy.